United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Eddie Smith from the First Assembly of God in Palatka will give our invocation. Reverend Stipp.
Yes, thank you. Can we bow our hearts? Father, we just thank you for this afternoon, God, and we thank you for this new school year. And Lord, I believe that this year is going to be the best year that Putnam County's ever seen with the students and the staff that you placed here, God. Father, I just pray as this meeting goes today that our minds will bow to yours and submit to you, God, today, and that, Father, that your will will be done in this county as we are going to see this county flourish, as we're going to see this county changed, Father, to come to be all that it's designed to be. And it's by your hand that we are designed. And we thank you for these leaders that you placed in these seats this afternoon. Father, I pray that you give them wisdom. I pray, Father, you give them discernment. And, Father, that you would show them the path that you have for Putnam County schools. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Please be seated and turn the sound on your cell phones off. Though our agenda says that Dr. Melissa Coleman was going to present today, she has rescheduled that presentation for another day. The next presentation is Keep Putnam Beautiful, and it's a presentation of books for our schools. Is Marcia here?
I see a Marcia. I don't know which Marcia you're talking about.
Okay. I'll put that off, and if she shows up, we'll do this later. Okay, Mr. Jared Guy, Deputy Guy, I saw you here to present information to the board about Putnam Project Lighthouse.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Good afternoon.
I'm here to present as a deputy and a board member for Putnam Project Lighthouse. What we have is Putnam Project Lighthouse is helping Putnam County buy lifesaver products to put on Putnam County's most vulnerable citizens, i.e. dementia patients, Alzheimer's patients, kids with autistic, or even a diminished mental capacity. So what I want to present today is some of the items that Project Lifesaver uses. And I'll pass this down the line here so you guys can see it. This is what we use as the transmitter. And this item here is the receiver. And what this works off of is an RC signal. And people ask, why are we going to the older, antiquated RF signal instead of using GPS? Well, GPS can be corrupted by tree canopy, satellite obstruction, different things like this. So we go back to the RF signal. That way, if one of our children run or walk off or wander off and we can't find them and they're in a wooded area, we can use this system here to find them. This system also has its own antenna built in, and it's called the Yogi system. You can also take this off, put an antenna on your vehicle, and it gives you a mobile tracking system. What that does is it narrows the range down, but it lets you get to do a grid search a lot faster and find your signal faster. Once through the training that we've had, we had 2-day training at the sheriff's office, and the last search that we did, we started at the boat ramp in Palatka. Within 5 minutes, we found the wearable tracking device on a person who was walking next to Musselwhites in East Palatka in 5 minutes. That was from first stepping out of the car. So the second system that we have through Project Lifesaver is called the PAL system. It's its own contained system that the actual box, the receiver, it talks to the watch through RF until it breaks a certain distance away from the receiver that's in the house. Once it does that, it goes directly to GPS, and it works off a cell signal. So those are the two devices that we are trying to raise money through Project Lifesaver Project Lighthouse to purchase the Project Lifesaver equipment. What we are asking the school board is for another one of these receivers. I believe they're $1,500. Through a grant, we've gotten 2 of them. But as you know, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office has 3 districts. We have one in the south, one in the central, and one west. So our goal is to get one of these in every district. That way we're close to wherever somebody might wander, and the other two can be on its way to triangulate the signal. As we know, a lot of people, some people who use dogs and hunt with dogs, they know that they use these to track dogs as well. And you know, if you have 2 or 3, it's a lot faster to triangulate with 2 or 3 and find them a lot faster. One more thing I'm asking we're going to ask the school board for is a person. That person would be invaluable to Project Lighthouse. Only in the fact that they're dedicated to answer the phone, make a list of people who want to be enrolled in the project. If we do 2 or 3 different people taking phone calls, one hand's not going to know what the other hand's doing, and we might lose somebody, and we don't want that to happen. So somebody suggested Ms. Piscatella from the actual school board. So, and I've approached her and asked her, and she said she's more than willing to do it. So that's where we're at right now. Does anybody have any questions for me or Project Light?
Could you catch high school students that were egging like a dean's house or something?
we sure could. We could probably put it on their car and we could find them. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The same antenna that goes on the car can also go in the air as well. We haven't had the helicopter training yet. We're good for a mile on the ground with this, but if we get up in the air, we have a 10-mile radius. So we're waiting for the training opportunity to do some training with the helicopters and have the 10-mile radius and locate people that way. Yes, ma'am.
That is the receiver, and that little watch-like thing is the transmitter, so I'm assuming that there's more than one transmitter with each receiver.
What this box does is, if you look on that transmitter, it's got a frequency number. In the Project Lifesaver database, every child or person who's put on this system has a picture of them, all their information, their receiver number, what triggers them, what scares them. So if they're scared of loud noises, we know not to come in with our sirens going, or if they might be scared of dogs, we know we can't use a dog that barks. Different things like that. So a lot of that's been forethought for us.
So then you tell that gadget there who you're looking for by so there's many of the watches that come with that. Is that correct, or do you have to buy them separately?
The white transmitter that I passed around, I can use 9,999 of them with this receiver because there's enough numbers.
But how much did they cost? I guess that's my...
Those transmitters are anywhere from $250 to $300 a piece. They're not cheap. The only thing cheap about those is the replacement battery that we have to change every 60 days.
Everyone that hunts with dogs anymore has these.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell when a dog is stepping in a road within miles away, just say, hey, go stand by that tree, it's fixing to step out.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I tried to get the superintendents of the state of Florida to support this type of stuff because you go to the vet, you get a dog donated, and they had a chip in it, and you could find the dog if you left. And, of course, that was kind of like a standing joke, but now it's come to fruition.
Right. And all this came from Ms. Porch, who contacted the sheriff's office and said, do we have something for this? And she actually has a child who is benefiting. Okay, yeah, if you would.
Would you let them know how it's going with Callum? And
Okay.
how it's coming
It's
out?
going beautifully with Callum. His aide came up with a plan because a lot of autistic children tend to be overly sensitive to things touching their skin. So one of the first challenges that you have is putting the bracelet, or it can be an anklet, in Callum's case it's an anklet, on and having it not drive them crazy and have them have meltdowns. So we had to start very simple. We put it on and it stayed a minute. And it was actually Tiffany Guy, Jared's wife, who came up with the idea of using a broken Fitbit that feels just like it, the weight of it. And they put it on him, and he worked on it for he would hold it, keep it on for 5 minutes at a time without melting down. And within a couple of days, they got him used to it with some rewards. And at the end of those days, he came home from school. He still had it on. He stuck his little foot up in the air and said, off. I said, no. And that was the last we heard. He's had it on for weeks now. And he's doing great with it. He can bathe with it. He can go swimming with it. It's safe to how many feet?
3 feet to track it, but it's
3
it's
feet to
safe at
track,
12 feet.
right. I mean, hopefully they don't get to water, but that, of course, is the great danger because of the children who are found deceased from wandering that are autistic, 92% of their bodies are found in water. So that is our fear, is that, you know, you want to find them as quickly as possible.
Well, I just feel like if we can, you know, God forbid that any one of them get away from their caretaker. But if they do, I mean, this is such a wonderful thing that we have the opportunity to work with our school system and the sheriff's department. And I would just love to see us help them.
Well, there have been a number, I just want to add, there have been a number of children that have walked off from school campuses all across the United States. We have had several in Florida that I researched. My own 2 cousins, I have 2 first cousins that are also autistic, and my uncle is a judge in Tampa, and he got a call at the courthouse one day that his son had walked off, and he made it to the highway. I mean, he had booked it from the courthouse. I don't know if any of you remember Matt Riccardi, his mother, Carolyn Meadows. His son walked off from school a couple years ago, I think, in North Carolina, and was found on the side of the road. And he had a 1-to-1 aid. But, you know, human beings, they make mistakes. There was a distraction, and these kids are smart, and they escape quickly.
So what we're talking about, we're specifically targeting the autistic children or the...
And those with intellectual
how are we defining our
disabilities.
scope here, I guess
Okay.
is what I'm asking.
Children with intellectual disabilities as well are in danger. Down syndrome children also have issues with being drawn to water. Usually that's because there's an overlap. You tend to have a child that has one diagnosis, but they also have a second one.
Right.
And a lot of Down syndrome children are also autistic. But anybody who is in danger of that, we have a young man in this community who has Down syndrome, who is a frequent flyer with the sheriff's department, who his mother has requested one of these. So it could be any developmental or intellectual
But
disability.
Terry, also adults, families who have a member that have Alzheimer's can purchase these. And this,
As well.
Right.
Right. I mean, our goal initially was to target the children,
Yes.
but the added benefit of the grandparents who are starting to have
Like
dementia
having a
issues.
more rapid response Amber Alert.
yes.
Yes.
Jared, how often, excuse me, Lee, how often does the battery on the anklet or the bracelet have to be recharged?
We're planning to change them every 60 days. However, the instructor that
Caregiver would have to keep up with this, I suppose. I mean,
yes, and then each person who is on the program is assigned an administrator, which would be like me, that is
Make
responsible
sure.
for making sure that they change the
I
battery.
mean, and they can bring them to the sheriff's department,
Correct.
and Jared can change it.
Right.
That's,
Our
batteries
instructor,
sometimes run into a lot of money when you get over.
they do, but our instructor said they even if you don't get them changed in 60 days, he's seen them last for a year and a half.
Okay.
But we're just going to make sure they have good, strong charge. That is our worst fear, is to have a bracelet on somebody and then they go missing and the battery's low or dead.
Well, I
So-
certainly don't have a problem, but I'd
so-
have to hear from the superintendent.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just need to understand our part in it.
Okay.
So you're asking us to purchase one of those things?
One of
right?
these, yes.
Right,
I can
okay.
pass this over there to you if you.
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right.
So you're asking us to purchase that, and that would give you one in each area of the county?
Yes, sir.
right? And now, these, how will our students get these?
I brought this as an example. This is another example of somebody, either we can, through the Project Lighthouse, can purchase for them, or they can purchase for themselves if they
If they
so
can't
deem that
afford
they
it.
want that. We are fundraising to provide for families who can't afford it, but families that can go ahead and purchase it now, and we can go ahead and get them in it. These
That's
are
what-
just examples. That
Right.
is its own self-contained. In that box is everything you need. You don't need this system for that. I was just showing you both of the.
Oh,
So that's what we as a board at Project Lighthouse are working to do, raise money to purchase those.
that's the
Correct.
anklet, right?
That would be you could wear it in your ankle or your wrist or, upper arm, wherever they feel most comfortable with wearing it. That's it. And that's the one that uses this receiver. The one in the box is self-contained.
I'm 100% for it. I just want to make sure we're able to resource our children with this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're also
Yep.
petitioning as a board Medicaid to try to get Medicaid to pay. There is one county in Florida where that has already been approved. It's a relatively new technology in Florida, so Medicaid of Florida hasn't picked it up yet, but that is something that we're looking into so that our students who receive those services could eventually have one bought by then. But of course, we've been in existence for, guys, probably a year,
Yes, one
about
year.
a full year, so we've already started the fundraising.
So, and we would facilitate
We've
this,
done a lot of good
obviously,
things.
through the schools. I mean, the teachers would be the frontline people networking with the students or,
We-
Are you talking about how we're gonna go about putting the bracelets on the children?
yes, how they're gonna pay for it, how, because, you know, for me, it's about penetration in our student body.
Right.
If we have 400 children that fall into this category.
We don't.
I wanna see that 400 children have this.
Understood,
So,
yeah.
so I'm talking about the time of penetrating that market.
That is what we're saying is people can buy them
Right.
themselves for it, and then the people that cannot afford it, that's why we're fundraising to raise the funds to get every child in need in one of them.
Is there a guesstimate,
Terry, it's on this sheet I passed out to you.
right, yeah, I got it.
A guesstimate on how many people
District,
total?
about how many students are we talking about? I don't see that on there. Is
It
it?
is.
Jane, is it on there? I'm sorry.
328 children in the
328.
district that could benefit from that.
Right,
Okay.
328 of school district children. Of course, there are older adults as well that we can't do those numbers. We did just receive a grant from Rotary for $10,000 that we are going to be using to purchase bracelets for some of these children already. We're about to, at our next board meeting, pick some of these kids.
Well, I'm with you. I just want to make sure we don't keep it in first gear. We need to get it in fifth gear.
Right, and that's why we were asking
So-
for Ms. Piscatello to come on board as well. That way we can have that person that accepts the phone calls, tells the board, these are the people that are next on the list, and that way we can keep it running and we don't have the wheels fall off somewhere.
Okay.
Phyllis, do you have any feelings about this?
Oh, yeah, I had talked to Jared when he came in, and I was really excited about it, and I'm the one that said, you need to bring this to the board, because I really can't approve spending of money, but I think the board needs to hear this. This is great for our kids, it's great for the whole community, it's sorely needed, and so I was really excited for him to make the presentation today.
Since the
Absolutely.
superintendent
I just
feels-
had one question, though, Ms. Crawford, what about Kiwanis?
Yeah, we're trying to work with the swim.
Oh, I heard Rotary, I just want to make sure.
We're trying to
Kiwanis-
work with the swim program,
I have spoken
having
to
qualified
I
swim.
figured you
because
had, I
we
just
do
had to
every
give her a hard
child's
time because
swimmer.
she belongs to
We're
Kiwanis.
involved.
Yeah.
Since the superintendent seems to be on board, I'd like to make a motion that
We
we,
can't do it at this point, I'm very
No,
sorry.
it'll be
This is
later.
present-
This is
oh,
just
I mean, that
presentation.
we put it on the
It's on.
consent, okay,
It's
all right.
on
So when do we
the
do that?
discussion, we can make a motion
the
when we
end.
get to the
Next time.
discussion
Okay.
agenda. And it seems like you don't have to stay for the meeting, it looks like we're unanimous.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
I want you to show up at
Thank
the
you.
next meeting.
Thank you. Show up for the next meeting, yes,
Put
sir.
one of those on the sheriff and let's see if we can find him.
Thank you.
You can find him, I know you
Jared.
can.
Thank you very much, Jared. I'm sure after the meeting, Pam will contact you formally to let you know the board's vote. Because we can't do that till later on in the meeting.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, that brings us to public comments. I have no public comment cards, so we have no public comments.
Could you find kids, high school kids age?
Discussion agenda, I'm sorry, the consent agenda. Are there any members of the public who have any items to pull off the consent agenda? Board members, Mr. Wright,
No, ma'am.
Mr. Buckles,
No, ma'am.
Ms. Cummings?
Nope.
Ms.
Not this time.
Okay, I'm pulling J1 at the request of Travis Weaver. It needs some editing, and it will be represented to the board.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move we approve the consent agenda minus J1.
Second?
Motion and a second on the floor to approve consent agenda as presented minus J1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries 5-0. Okay, we're gonna come out of regular session now and go into emergency session. We have 3 items. And somebody took
Is
mine.
J1 just gonna be tabled then?
Here,
Or
these
do we have
emergencies.
to?
No, it's pulled.
These
It's
are,
pulled.
these are what you
Oh,
want.
And
okay.
it'll be put back.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It'll be put back on the agenda again.
After revision,
Right.
okay.
Okay, emergency items. Number one, personnel allocations, 2015, 2016, change number 4 and 4.2. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion on the floor, motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Next is discussion, input, and action on physical therapy services for the Palaca High School sports programs 2015-2016 school year. Increase from $12,000 to $20,000. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I do have, I guess I just need to say a few things here. I'm all for this, but I think just for the sake of being equitable, do we extend this to Crescent City and to Interlochen schools? Mr. Roach is coming to enlighten us.
Yes, we do. The problem is, Mr. Miles Fisvold, who runs Palaca Therapy, has tried and tried diligently to get people to go to Interlochen and Crescent City, and hasn't been able to find anybody. They want to come to Palaca. I think it's more centrally located from where they're at. Most of them are interns in the University of Florida project, which I still don't understand why they won't go to Interlochen. It is offered. We just can't find anybody to fill those spots. It was offered, and let me just say, it was offered when it was $12,000 per trainer. Now that it's $20,000, and let me say this too, when we first had a discussion, the number was $31,000, and I said we can't. And then, but if you think about it, coaches do the best thing they can for athletes when they get injured. But they're not medical. They haven't had the training in it. They may have had a first aid class in college, but that's about it. If they put a kid on the field who's had a concussion, or $20,000 is going to be cheap.
So this is putting someone on the sideline.
Yes.
For the
This person, the person at Palaca High School started the first day of fall football of workouts, and will work every home athletic event for the entire year, including spring football again.
And Miles attends quite a few of those.
Yes.
Florida Sports Medicine sometimes sends, or now I guess it's Dr. Grimes out of Florida Sports Medicine, sends Sean to a lot of our games as well. So, but you can't, in this day and time, I can't imagine not having a trainer. It will be up to the principals to try to recruit their trainers for their football team and head coaches, I would think.
Well, I'm going to get with Miles again and see if he can network with maybe
University of St. Augustine and
somebody there in South and West, maybe Santa Fe Community College, who may have a program that goes into University of Florida. It's great. I've also thought about crazy ways that we could grow our own in our high schools, but again, it costs money, and $20,000 a year is cheaper than starting a program in a school.
and it's not just football,
It's every sport. It's football, baseball, basketball, soccer.
So it can't just be one person.
No,
doing
ma'am.
all this.
Well, that's one person at Palaca High School.
And they're
doing-
how are they at every sport?
Oh, just the
event?
home
I-
Women's softball and baseball all
Well,
happening at the same time?
At the home events,
On call.
they are on call.
Okay.
So if they're attending a baseball game and somebody gets injured at a softball, they get in the car and they drive over there.
It'll save a lot of kids from having lifelong injuries versus a brief injury.
And the good thing about it is we have a direct connection with Palaca. Not that I'm promoting. We have a direct connection with Palaca Therapy, who can. Kids can rehab. They can.
Miles loves it. Yeah, he likes helping.
I think it's a good deal for us, even though it's an $8,000 a year increase. I still think that for all that they do, it's extremely inexpensive.
Yeah, again, I'm 100% for it. I mean, full disclosure, I have a son out there. So, I'm for this. But we have to make sure that Interlochen and Crescent City is afforded the same dollars, to secure care for their students as well.
And so, I'm asking the board today, are we gonna find out a way to budget $60,000 a year, starting now,
That would be-
going
that would
to?
be-
That would be what I would prefer.
For me, that would be my recommendation.
I'm just asking because if that's the case, then I will actively pursue people for the south end and west end.
Right, and they need
Now,
to be willing to be at every
just
event.
the issue of protocol, Madam Chair, we can't vote on an
The other two
additional
schools.
$40,000 because it's not on the agenda. But we can bring it back next meeting and vote on it then.
Okay,
So, just for protocol issues, that's just how it's gotta work, so.
okay.
Well,
Then,
can we vote on this now, though?
Yes, absolutely.
Really quickly, I know that every soccer and football, they have EMS there, and
Right.
that's required, and we pay for that. So my question is, are we paying for the EMS? Because if there's a
Yes.
serious injury, they are there they're the first responder.
I wanna say EMS, when I was at South Putnam, cost us about $750 a game.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's state required.
But
Yeah.
we did not have them at soccer. We had them at football.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm just for cost, I mean, if you have to have a physical therapist and the EMT there.
Here's what the physical, here's what this person is not really a physical therapist, they're an athletic trainer. They can make small diagnoses, they can look at an athlete and check, they can
They can do a
wrap
concussion
ankles,
check.
they can do all those kind of things. They'll treat minor things and say to a coach, this kid doesn't need to play anymore,
Okay.
okay?
Or you need to send them to the doctor.
Or you need to get the ambulance up here and
Their ACL is torn, you need to
Right.
get them to the
Mhm.
hospital.
They can do all those kind of things. They're not gonna make medical diagnosis, but
Right.
they can, serve our athletes. And the nice thing about it is if an athlete gets injured and they have something and we need to put them in a whirlpool or something, they can take care of all that. Because we have those at our facilities, whirlpools and stuff.
So they would be more monitoring their injury then?
Yes. They can help them rehab while they're at
Okay.
practice. They can set up protocols.
Okay.
Coaches used to do that, but they're not.
We used to do
still
that.
not athletically trained as trainers do.
Years ago, we used to have to take athletic training and injury prevention courses, because I went through all that.
I make a motion that we approve.
Second?
There's a motion and second on the floor. Any more discussion by the board? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. And I'd just like to add that, Mr. Roach, we'd like to see Interlochen and
get.
Crescent City similar things back on. Great,
Okay.
thank you so much. Item 3 on our emergencies agenda, after the fact payment to consultant to provide CPR training.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so moved?
Second.
Second. from Ms.
Motion and a second on the floor. This was a clerical error. It didn't get done in time, so we're just catching up with it. Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries 5-0. We're out of emergency session and back in regular session. We have no old business, new business. The first thing on the agenda is the Project Lighthouse request for support donation of $1,500.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move we approve the request for $1,500 for Project Lighthouse.
I second it.
A motion and second on the floor. Is there any further discussion by the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries 5-0. Next item is the FSBA Legislative Committee representative. Is this what CL did? Is that, are we doing something?
Are we electing
I thought it was
one?
David.
I thought it was David was the representative.
Is Mr. Buck?
Yes,
Okay.
and
He was
I'm
on
the
the
alternate.
state board
Yeah.
of
So
that.
what are we doing?
I'm the
We
alternate.
all have to select one, or?
Oh.
It's you.
I make a motion to recommend Mr. Buckles to be that representative.
And I second it.
Well, that's what was confusing me, because we always did these at
November.
reorganization in November, so.
What the attachment said, they gave you two choices. You decide to keep your current representative, and then they will serve until the end of next
Yeah, that's what we
Okay,
wanna
so
do.
when legislative sessions are going, they have consistency. They changed their rules.
Okay.
SBA changed their rules.
That's what we wanna keep,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
I made a motion.
I
And
second.
it.
Okay, all right.
So there's a motion and second that Mr. Buckles should continue as our FSBA Legislative Committee representative. Anybody have anything to say about Mr. Buckles?
This is not the place.
Besides Mr. Buckles.
The only
We have a
thing-
lot of things to say.
The only thing I will say is the board has given me great latitude to go forth and try to do some things that we've never tried before, and it resulted last year in $1 million appropriation above and beyond. This year it was $600,000, and we're going to try to continue that on a 3-year project with the legislature. We've already met with certain representatives for $1 million over the next 2 years. That'd be $1 million and then $1 million for you try to finish out the Career Tech Center. So I appreciate you guys having confidence in me, but I'm no doubt any one of you could do it. But I'll continue on if that's what you want.
Did we vote? We didn't vote, did we? Okay, there's a motion and second on the floor. Mr. Buckles has had his say. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries 5-0.
Do you want your alternate to remain the same?
I'm the alternate right now, so.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay with everyone? Yes.
I sure don't wanna do it.
Okay, reports, board members, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Just real big thank you to Mr. Roach and Mr. Getchell, who got on the Palatka High parking area. It looks phenomenal, and my car didn't bury up to the radiator. So it's even more drivable through there now. Really needed. Thank you guys for that. That was a 3-day turnaround. That is awesome. That was a 3-day turnaround. It looks great. Thank you for that. Also was out at QI last week for registration, and it was thrilling to see all the students out there, all the parents who were involved, the things that are going on out there. I have one out there this year, and so looking forward to a good year there. Also very encouraging. I've talked to a lot of parents. Well, I say a lot, half a dozen, whose kids are entering Putnam County schools for the first time, and many of them later in their careers, not starting out in kindergarten, but coming in later, elementary or middle school. And it's just great to say, look, you know, they say, well, we're going to this school. Hey, great team down there, great principal, great leaders, great stuff's going to happen in your kid's life. So know that a lot are coming for the first time, and I'm thrilled that they're here, and they're going to get a great education, and they're going to be cared for by some great people. So, you know, just excited about that. And then finally, Black High football game this Friday night. Come watch the 2B kicker for the University of Alabama in 4 years. Just all I'm saying.
It's the jamboree.
Must be his kid.
It is my kid. So anyway, there you go. I'm done.
Mr. Buckles.
Speaking of Palatka High School and kids getting ready, I was really happy and pleased to see Coach Humphreys at Palatka High School, Veteran Memorial Stadium, which is the Palatka football stadium. This past weekend, the kids and the coaches and several community organizations got together, and they painted and pressure washed and cleaned up the field and the stadium. And Coach Humphreys was able to fool me into bringing my pole saw around and cutting some limbs for them. So I'm just proud to see the kids working, and they were very respectful, and they cooked in the parking lot adjacent to the stadium, and I think Darryl Polite ate most of the food they had before we could get off the grill. So I was really pleased with that. I was pleased to see today's article in the Palatka Daily News alerting parents and just plain citizens who may not even have children in school to bus duties and to just be diligent and watch the community, because people are our eyes and ears, and Travis Weaver can't do anything about it if he doesn't know about it. He's not magic. So those are things we have to know. I like the back to school article. I like the message from the superintendent. I thought that was very, very appropriate. And I was fortunate enough to go to James A. Long a little earlier and catch the tail end of a little ground rattler that had gone in between a building and we were able to get it all hemmed up and taken care of. So Paula Adams and Sarah Jean McDaniel are to be commended, because we do have wildlife that, you know, whether it's a bear going in a dumpster in a school or a snake on campus, it's just something people have to be aware of. So it's a never-ending job, but that's good, does it for me.
Ms. Cummings.
I think everything was successful for the first day. I want to thank the superintendent. She was out and about, and I was able to call her. And all the staff, it was so neat to see the administrators out just greeting and smiling and waving, and that, I mean, the finance and all the people, everybody was out and about. So thank you for doing that. I thought that was neat. Walking past a kindergarten class, and this kid was just screaming, "Mommy!" and I was made me want to cry. And there's this parent, and then you're just all these staff members trying so hard. So it's so emotional, and I know that every one of our staff does everything they can to make that a smooth transition, especially for those babies. Like I said, I just brought tears in my eyes. That little kid was upset. He was not happy.
As soon as she left.
Yes, I know he was, I'm sure. But as far as parents, I was able to talk to the director of food service about all the great lunches, because some could think, oh, well, my kids, now that we have the free lunch for everyone, please take advantage of that. She had some new yogurt plate for lunch and chef salad, and I mean, there's some great opportunities to have some nutritious lunches. Our food service work above and beyond to help those kids have choices. So please, don't just say, oh, well, my kid doesn't eat school lunch. I'm telling you, there's some neat things, and they're trying their best to come up with creative ideas for even kids that are, vegetarians even. I want to say QI, they have a potato bar and a salad bar, and I was like, good for them. I mean, they're like making it up there with Golden Corral. I mean, so that's neat. They're making it special. So I appreciate all that work for food service, because we got a grant and we're thankful we can feed these kids for free. So now they have to actually go through the line and pick something. So we need them to be parents to encourage their kids to try something new if they've never done it before. So
pizza.
And the food giveaway was amazing at Miller Middle. Hundreds of people came and got bags of groceries through Feeding America. Feeding America wants to come back. The schools want to have them, so we're going to try to keep that going in South Putnam the best we can every month to see that these people in need have these extra nutritious meals to get. So that was awesome. That's all.
Well, I had a very exciting morning on the first day at Palatka High School. Ms. Huff was there directing traffic, showing the kids where their classes were, and I came in just to wish everybody good luck and a good year, and I ended up handing out schedules and writing tardy passes and showing kids where their classes are. I felt like I was back at home. It was a wonderful morning. Palatka High School's trying something new. They're going to have breakfast in their first period class of the day, and when I got there, they had all the baskets. They looked like laundry baskets, and all the breakfast was in there, and each class will have a representative that goes and gets the breakfast and takes it back up to the room. I thought it reminded me of breakfast at Campbell School many, many years ago. We had milk in our classrooms. I thought it was really neat. And I just think what our food service people do is so amazing. I unfortunately didn't get to see the goats in the parking lot that the teachers at Palatka High School have gotten to see this past week during their pre-planning. But I did see them in their little pen, and they're so cute. And the kids and ag kids were already out there in the field working when I left today, so our teachers are getting right on it. I know that this is going to be a wonderful year for schools in Putnam County, because we have such wonderful administration and staff giving their all every day. And just on a side note, I work in admissions at St. John's River State College, and you can't imagine how many students, graduates from all three of our high schools, have enrolled this fall term at St. John's, and that just really makes me happy.
I'm glad you're out there working with them.
Thank you. There was a a contest of some kind
Oh,
that
yeah,
WJXT had.
Oh, yeah.
And Interlochen High School won because we all got online or something and voted. Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we want bodies there to make it look like Interlochen High has 3,000 students. So anybody who can come by to Interlochen High on Thursday night, we're gonna have bands and parades and just put on a real show for the newspaper.
Be at the football field, right?
Yes, it'll be at the football field. Then also, I'm assuming everybody got this, but I just want to point out, because I got excited, but I can't go, there's a free training session from 9:30 to 3:30 next Wednesday and Thursday. The Hanley Center Foundation, in partnership with the school district, is getting into alcohol prevention and reduction in our kids. And they're trying to change the alcohol consumption patterns of our youth, and they're looking at media, and they're going to train our people to see how media is adversely affecting our kids and encouraging them to do these kinds of things, so then our staff knows how to point this out to the kids, that they're being fooled, so to speak. So it's open to us too, if anybody's available next Wednesday and Thursday. It's at the County Commission Meeting Room on Krill Avenue in Suite 100. And that's all I have, Mr. Attorney.
I just want to say thank you to the city of Crescent City. There was an issue that came up with portables that the district owns, and with the migrant worker program that we have to provide for with federal regulations. And there was a question about whether our portables met the land development code down in Crescent City. The attorney down there, Jay Asbury, and also the city planner, Mr. Kennedy, worked together with the school district, myself, Scott Gatchell, Mr. Roach. We all went down there, had a presentation, and the Planning and Zoning Committee worked with us. And so we reached a great conclusion and resolution, and it's great to see the interlocal agencies coming together for what's best for the county, and thanks to the folks down in Crescent City for helping us with that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent.
Well, it's been a great day. All the little glitches that we've had are the ones you have every year, a little bit with transportation, a little bit with schedules at the schools, but all in all, it's been a great day. And my prayer is that every day this week and for the rest of the year it'll be this good. But, and certainly with food service, they do a tremendous job. Nikki Hawthorne, Director of Food Service, I think she would like everybody to know they don't run out of food. So if the kids are coming home saying they ran out of food, it wasn't that they ran out of food. They offer about 6 different items as entrees. And so if when they get there, the particular one they wanted isn't available anymore, they have to choose one of the other 5. So sometimes the kids just, they want what they want and they don't want to choose something else. But they didn't run out of food. There's plenty of food. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. They do a great job. And also, it was Channel 12, First Coast News, that Interlochen High School, I don't know how they did it. It's a tribute to the community of Interlochen. They voted, and I think Interlochen had 5,000 to 8,000 votes more than even any of the Jacksonville schools. So that is just tremendously amazing. So they will be broadcasting their Ultimate Game Day Thursday. And it's very exciting, so if you have an opportunity to come out, and I'm sure they can get you a Rams shirt to wear, and we'll go out and support them because that's a really wonderful opportunity. We had a lot of TV stations here today, Channel 12, 4, 47. They were all here today filming at different schools, and what they saw was really good. And that takes a good message out to communities outside of Putnam County about what happens here in Putnam County, because truly we've got the best teachers anywhere, and our administrators and all of them out today and smiling faces and helping with kids. And all the schools I went to, I saw the same thing, especially at the elementary, the kindergartners. Some of them, it's really rough to let go of mom, but the minute mom's out of sight, in 10 minutes they're all fine. So it's just typical for the start of school, and it was a good day, and we're just happy that they're back. So, and that's all I have today.
There being no further business to bring before this board, we're adjourned.